remind you that we're coming to you live from the Houston Astrodome. Billie Jean King against Bobby Riggs. They are tied in the first set at 4 games apiece.
It was a match that transcended sports. 50 years ago this month, 90 million people watched on television around the world as Long Beach tennis phenom Billie Jean King beat self-described male chauvinist pig Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes. Rosie Casals is a former tennis champ and a friend of King's who was a commentator for that match in Houston. Rosie, I am thrilled to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Well, Lisa, my pleasure.
Let's go back in time. In 1973, Nixon was in the White House. The battles for women's rights were underway. In the 18 months leading up to this game, Ms. Magazine was founded. Title IX became law. Equal Rights Amendment was sent to the states for ratification. Roe v. Wade was decided. And at that same time, women could not get a credit card in their own name, and if employed, it was perfectly legal to fire them if they got pregnant. In this moment stepped Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs.
From the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, the tennis battle of the sexes, Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs.
Describe who they were as players, as icons at that time.
He was a has-been, basically, and, well, I think all of us know who Billie Jean King was and what she's become. Someone who's fought for equality and, social justice, and she was doing the same thing then.
I don't think you give us credit for having any brains at all.
She was fighting for women's rights and the right to be respected, to earn a living, to be able to play the sport you love, and to earn money. And Bobby Riggs, well, I think in my commentary, I called him a chauvinist pig.
He's just bad news.
Bobby Riggs basically made a career of going on talk shows and saying outrageous and offensive things about women.
Do you like women? So a lot of people said you don't like women. This is really more than just...
I like them real good in the bedroom, the kitchen, and when they bring you the slippers and the pipe. And, I really think...
You're a male chauvinist, eh?
A couple years before that, Billie Jean King basically created women's professional tennis and the Virginia Slims Tour. This match came to be embraced by men and women all across the country. I remember it as a little girl in middle school. Girls and boys started challenging each other to kickball fights.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it did. There were people that didn't know anything about tennis, but they certainly sided. They either took the Bobby Riggs side or they took the Billie Jean King side. But I think this was a great platform in which to make a statement for women. And even though, as you mentioned, Bobby Riggs did make a career of challenging the women, having beaten Margaret Court earlier in the year, and they called it the Mother's Day Massacre.
Bobby Riggs wins 6-2, 6-1. Unbelievable.
Obviously, Margaret had lost, and I can't even repeat what she said, but she said, I'm going to have to play him. Now I have to defend the honor of women's tennis. So she knew that phone call was coming next.
Houston, September 20th, 1973. At the Astrodome, 30,000 people, 40 million watching on television in the U.S., 90 million worldwide. Howard Cosell is calling the game. You were a commentator for it.
And this is our female expert tonight. Recognize her? Little Rosie Casals.
Describe the scene and sort of the show before the show.
Well, the show before the show was certainly interesting. I happened to have gone down to the locker room and saw Billie Jean, and, I asked her, I said, you know what? I said, how are you feeling? She said, good. I said, are you going to win? She said, yes. She looked at me with those baby blues and she said, yes, I'm going to win. So I said, I'm going to come up with the score. 3 sets, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3. It was something like that. I went upstairs and I met Mr. Cosell. It was a real event. With celebrities, with fans, with the hoopla.
And here comes Billie Jean King, and she's got the fans here tonight.
I have never seen anything like it, so it was definitely an event to remember and never to be reproduced.
Bobby still hasn't taken up his warm-up jacket, as if that's part of the site, and he started to establish his own pattern there.
I think he's getting paid too much money to take that off.
Rosie Casals, who tells it like it is.
And Bobby leaned into his chauvinism even as he was walking to the court.
Be my guest for this beautiful sugar dance. It'll be good for your low blood sugar count.
He was a character, and I've got to thank him really in a way, because he really put women's tennis on the map. This match really transcended women and what they were fighting for, and really gave them permission to go and get what they really wanted, to ask and what they deserved, and not to be afraid, and just to challenge themselves. I definitely felt that match really put it all on the line and answered everybody's questions about women, because that was a defining moment for women, and thank God Billie Jean won that.
There is no disputing the legacy of Billie Jean King and this game. We've seen it obviously in women's tennis, in women's soccer, and just recently when Coco Gauff won the U.S. Open, she took a moment to share some gratitude.
And now, as we culminate the celebration of the 50th anniversary of equal prize money, the great, the one and only Billie Jean King will present Coco with her trophy.
Thank you, Billie, for fighting for this.
How does that make you feel when you look back on all that came after?
Well, I must say that was very nice of her to do so and acknowledge us. She won $3.2 million. In 1973, $25,000 was awarded to Margaret Court, who won. Wow. Equal prize money to the men. And I think when you look at it that way, I would say we've come a long way, baby.
Rosie Casals called the Battle of the Sexes. Thank you.
Thank you.